one of the primitive microscope. It was actually invented by a scientist whose name was Anton von Leeuwenhoek. So this was the person who invented this. Then you have got different type of cells in our body. Cells of brain, cells of muscles, cells of bones. Every cells are different from each other because their functions are different, hence their structure is also different. Because they have got different functions to perform, hence they have got different structures. There are few terminologies I suppose both of you should know related to cell. Like just like we humans have got a brain, in a similar manner, a cell also has got a brain of its own that is called as the nucleus. Just like our house has got a boundary, our house has a fence, in the same manner, you find out that this cell also has a fence around it, which we call as the cell membrane. Then you have got a jelly-like medium inside the cell. It's a jelly-like liquid. You have seen a jelly-like liquid. So in which all the components of the cells are actually floating. So that is called as cytoplasm. Getting it now? Then you have, just like our body has got different organs, heart is there, lungs, kidney, different organs are there. Similarly, a cell will also be having different organelles, like ribosome is there, Golgi apparatus, chloroplast, different organelles are there inside the cell also. So these things we were discussing in the previous class. Then you have got organisms that can be having just one cell, and then there are organisms like we humans, plants, and different other animals which we can see with our open eyes. So those are the multicellular organisms, the one which are having multiple cells in order to perform different functions. For example, I did told you that our human body alone consists of somewhere around 30 trillion cells are there, right? So the chapter nutrition deals with what are the different modes of nutrition in the world, how plants prepare their food, how we humans take the food. In the plant world also, you find out that some plants cannot prepare their own food. So thereby for some, so they also have to depend on some other resources to get their food. Getting it? So we will start by the same question. Abu, you define what do you mean by nutrition?
Nutrition is a process of obtaining food.
And then utilizing it to obtain energy from it.
Yes.
One another question is, Priyanka, why organism need nutrients? Why the organism needs food?
To survive.
To survive, to obtain energy from the food. Huh?
To grow height and weight.
Very good.
Repairing of cell.
Exactly.
Body functions.
From different body functions.
And maintenance.
Maintenance of the different bodily functions. Very good. Very good. Right now. So if we were to talk about the plants, we know that plants are capable of making their food themselves, but humans and animals cannot do so. Right? So mode of nutrition in plant is different from that of animals. So plants prepare their food by using the raw materials. They will be using the raw materials in order to prepare their food. Like they will be using water, they will be using carbon dioxide and some minerals in order to prepare their food. Right? So thereby we see that plants are autotroph. What do we say? Plants are autotrophs. Now let's understand what is autotroph. Let me insert a slide here. So talking about mode of nutrition, there are mainly two types of mode of nutrition. First one is called as autotrophic. Second one is called as heterotrophic nutrition. Now let's decipher this. Now let's understand this term. What does autotrophic mean? Okay, now. So if you see, this autotrophic is made up of two words. It is made up of auto and another word troph. So the word auto means self and troph means nourishment. What does it mean? Nourishment. Then look at the term hetero. It is made up of two words, hetero and troph. What does the word hetero mean? It means different, different or others. And again, troph means nourishment. So those living organisms that can provide nourishment to themselves, they don't have to depend on others for nourishment. Nourishment basically means food. So they are called as autotrophic organisms. So what are those organisms which are autotrophic in nature? Guys, is my screen not visible?
We can see, sir.
Okay. And on my computer, it's actually not visible. Thereby, I thought if there's an issue. Huh. So thereby, you have the examples of all the green plants are autotrophic in nature. You have got algae; they are also autotrophic in nature. Getting it, guys? So they can provide nourishment to themselves, hence they are called as autotrophic organisms. So we call them as autotrophs. They are called as autotrophs. Those which are having a autotrophic nutrition, they are called as autotrophs. What is autotrophic nutrition? Basically, the one which can provide nourishment to themselves. And then you have all the animals who are the heterotrophic in nature. Whether you talk about the different type of microorganisms in it, whether you talk about the different type of whether it be herbivorous, omnivorous, carnivorous, or scavengers, all of them are heterotrophic in nature. Hope it is clear. Let's first of all understand about the autotrophic mode of nutrition, how it basically functions. So once we are done with this, then we will proceed further. Talking about the green plants, you guys already know that green plants can take the raw materials from the nature and then they can prepare their own food, right? Now, can anyone tell me about the process of photosynthesis? I suppose you guys must have studied about photosynthesis earlier as well. Hmm.
So
Yes, Abu. Yes, Priyanka.
is a process by sun
Process
that
by plant, not by
plant
sun.
and by plant and the sunlight of it.
Continue. Abu, what about you? What do you mean by the process of photosynthesis?
What's that?
What is photosynthesis? Yes. Have you not studied about photosynthesis earlier? I suppose you must have studied about this. In class 6th also I did told you about this. See.
Sir, photosynthesis is a process by which the plant uses sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide to create oxygen.
To prepare food and then oxygen. The
Yes.
primary product the main product that they produce, it's food in the form of glucose. Okay, na? And then there's one more product, that is oxygen. Getting it? So here you can see this green plant, it's taking the raw materials from the environment, like it takes up carbon dioxide from the air. 1 minute. Huh? It takes carbon dioxide and then water. In the presence of sunlight, it prepares carbohydrate and oxygen. Now, you must have heard of carbohydrates. Earlier, I also told that foods like potato, rice, they are rich in carbohydrates. Right now, even sugar is also rich in carbohydrate. So carbohydrate is of different types. Carbohydrate is of different types. So one of the carbohydrate here is glucose. That is C6H12O6 that you see here. That is glucose. So in the process of photosynthesis, what we see that carbon dioxide along with water reacts in the presence of sunlight in the chlorophyll of the leaves to prepare the food, that is glucose, and oxygen is also released. You might see here this light energy is written here. So light energy is being taken from the sunlight. Getting it, guys? So in order to carry out any process, you require energy now. Like in order to prepare the food in the kitchen, you require energy. You have to heat the food in order to prepare it. So to carry out any processes, we require some energy. And in order to carry out the process of photosynthesis, the energy that is required, it is being taken from the sunlight. Are you guys able to understand the whole process or not? Yes. Priyanka, are you getting it?
No, sir.
Not getting it. Okay, let me explain it once again. See, this plant, this plant here, no, every green plant on earth that you see carries out this process called as photosynthesis. Photo here refers to light. Photo, what does it refer to? It means light. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And synthesis here is referring to the production of something. Getting it? So in the presence of light, something is being produced. So, for example, you want to prepare a dish. You want to prepare rajma and rice. You want to prepare basically any dish. So you will require some ingredients to prepare that dish, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So here the dish that we want to prepare is this dish, C6H12O6. So this is actually glucose. C here stands for what? Who will tell me? This stands for carbon. Carbon. H here stands for? Yes, Abu, Priyanka, any idea? H here stands for hydrogen. Okay, na? O here stands for?
Sir?
Yes,
Oxygen.
oxygen. Okay, na? Let me write it here. C stands for carbon, H stands for hydrogen, and O stands for oxygen. So, so these are the components of this dish. So in order to prepare this dish, you must have carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Then only you can prepare it now. Forget about the numbers. Don't look at the 6, 12, and 6. Don't look at these numbers right now. That is not your main concern right now. Okay, no? So you are taking CO2. CO2 is
Here?
carbon,
Carbon dioxide.
carbon dioxide. Priyanka, were you saying something? I suppose you are not having network issues today. Hello. Uh, Wakas, are you in the same class today? Is this your required?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Actually, I was not informed regarding you. I thought you have mistakenly entered into a wrong class. I thought. Sorry about that.
Oh,
Okay, so
okay.
Wakas, do tell me, we didn't talk to you. Do tell me about yourself. Introduce yourself.
I'm Vakas and I'm living in Saudi Arabia.
Mhm. Okay, and
I'm 11 years old
okay, what
and
is the name of your school?
Yara International School.
Okay, okay, okay. Your schools have started.
Yes, sir, started.
Okay, which chapter is going on in the school?
Uh, First
Nutrition and
chapter.
plants. Okay, okay. Okay, so let's continue. So we are right now discussing about the photosynthesis process. Let me give you a brief since you have joined a little bit late, but not, I won't say you have joined late. Basically, I would say that let's let me give you a background of what we have been discussing. We are doing the chapter nutrition in plants, and different organisms have different mode of nutrition. How they are taking in food, are they preparing it themselves or are they taking it from some other sources? So green plants
Okay.
can prepare their own food and they are called as autotrophic organisms. They are called as autotrophs because they can prepare their own food, while all rest of the organisms, apart from plants, apart from algae and some particular bacteria, every other organism on planet earth is heterotrophic in nature because they can't prepare their own food. So let's coming back to this topic, photosynthesis. This is the dish that plants are preparing. To prepare this dish, they require carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. So what they take now, they take carbon dioxide from the air. So via their leaves, look at this arrow here. This is carbon dioxide, that is CO2. The leaves are taking, look at the arrow. So leaves takes this
Yes, sir.
gas from the atmosphere. And then look at this also, water, that is H2O. Water consists of hydrogen and oxygen. So H2O is also being taken by the plants, right? Now look at the
Yes, sir.
requirements. Guys, we required carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Are we not getting carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen from carbon dioxide and from water? Please answer this question, all of you. Priyanka, Abu Bakr, Wakas, you guys tell me, is carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen not found in CO2 and H2O?
Sir, found.
It is found. Yes, Priyanka, what do you think?
Yes, sir.
It is there, no? Isn't it, Abu?
Yes.
So we have all the necessary ingredients to prepare this dish. All we need is energy. Huh? For example, you want to, let's say, prepare some particular dish. Suppose you want to make idli or some any kind of dish you want to prepare, or you want to prepare pizza. So you require different type of ingredients. But is it that you have all the ingredients and you mixed it and the food is ready? No, you have to bake the pizza, no? You have to bake it, obviously. So here we need to provide some energy to all this. Like you were baking it by providing it with heat. You were heating the pizza, and heat is what? Heat is a form of energy. Heat is actually a form of energy, guys. So here also the energy that we provide for this process to take place is coming from the sunlight. And from sunlight, we are taking the light energy. And any process happens in a place. So the place where all this process is happening is inside the leaf. Inside the leaf where? Inside the leaf, there's a place called as chlorophyll, and this is actually a green pigment. So just for the sake to for the sake of making it simple, I'm just writing here that consider that this is a place inside the leaf called as chlorophyll where all this process is happening inside. So just like in our house, we see that in the kitchen, our mothers or our sisters are preparing the food. In the same manner, in the plants, inside the leaves, all this process is happening. Hence, the kitchen of the plant is leaves. Are there different points clear to all of you or not? Please do let me know.
Yes, sir.
Is it okay? What about others? Priyanka and Abu Bakr?
Yes.
It is clear? Okay. So you guys need to remember the definition of photosynthesis because it is very important. This question is asked. So how you will define it? You will say the process by which autotrophic green plants prepare their own food by taking raw materials from environment in the presence of what? Sunlight. Getting it? So that is the thing. In fact, you can add one more thing in it. In the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. So that is all about photosynthesis. Now then, talking about what is the site of photosynthesis, where is all this process happening? So I did told you earlier also that all this process is happening inside the leaves. Inside the leaf where? So we find out that if you were to look at the leaves now, you will find out that leaves have got very tiny openings are found in the leaves. Earlier I did told you like leaves take in carbon dioxide from the leaves, so there must be some holes in the leaves. So through those holes carbon dioxide is entering into the leaves now. So then we come to this picture. Look at this picture here and look at this empty space between these two structure. Getting it, guys? Don't look at this magnified image. Don't look at this magnifying skill right now. You will get confused. Just right now, just look at this here. Okay, now. So this is an opening that we call as pore, or more specifically, pore means opening. Our skin also has got pores now. So pore is
Yes,
basically
sir.
an opening. So this here is called as stomatal pore. Stomatal pore. So it is through this stomatal pore that plants take in carbon dioxide gas. Okay. And it is through the same pores that when in the process of photosynthesis, oxygen is produced. So they release this oxygen gas via those pores. So then look at the another arrow which is showing that oxygen gas is coming out from the leaves. Getting it now? So via these pores, oxygen gas comes out of the leaves. And that's why it is very important to plant more and more trees. Right now, what is the percentage composition of oxygen in the atmosphere? What is the percentage of oxygen in the atmosphere? Abu, what about you? It is how much in the atmosphere?
Sir,
21%.
20%.
More specifically, it's 21%. Getting it? Then you have got other gases also in the air, like nitrogen is also there, which is having the highest composition in the air. Nitrogen is having 78%. Getting it? So thereby, if the percentage of oxygen were to decrease, so it will be problematic for life to thrive on Earth. Will be having, it will be hard for different organisms to survive. So that's why planting is very important, because in the process of photosynthesis, along with this glucose, plants are releasing out oxygen as well, which we are breathing. Obviously, this glucose we are going to eat. I will come to that later also, like how the food that is prepared in the leaves, how we are eating it, because we are not eating the leaves of all the plants now. We eat stem of some plant, we eat fruits, we eat vegetables, or we eat flower, or we eat roots of some plants. But there are very few plants like spinach whose leaves are edible. So then later on you will get to know that the food that is prepared in the leaves, it is not always stored in the leaves, but it is stored either in the form of fruit or vegetable. It can be stored in the roots also, like you have radish, carrot, or it can be stored in underground stems like potato. You'd be surprised, or if you know, or if you don't know, you'd be surprised to know that potato is actually an underground stem. Most of us know that stem is a long structure of the long pillar-like structure of the plant. But in some cases, you find out that the stem can be modified and can be and can have we have examples like potato, which can be which is a underground stem. So the food that is being prepared in the leaves, it is stored in different areas of the plant, in different parts of the plants. Hope you guys are not getting confused. So I was talking
Yes, sir.
about this stomatal pore here. So then again, if you guys were to go back to this structure, which I showed moments ago, you guys look at this structure here, chloroplast. See where it is pointing, this structure. Priyanka, Abubakar, and Wakas, all of you follow where I'm pointing. So this is a structure, this is a cell organelle actually. What is this? It is cell organelle. Don't get confused in this, like what is cell organelle? I mean to say, just like our body has got different organs now, like lungs is there, kidney, liver, stomach, intestine. So we have got different organs. So but plants have got organelle. The only difference is in their spelling. Organelle, organelle. Getting it now? Cell organelle. So chloroplast is one of the cell organelle found in the plant cells. And you find out that in chloroplast, you have got stomata. Sorry. In the stomata, you actually find out that chloroplast is found. Getting it, guys? So inside the stomata, we find that chloroplasts are found. And then inside the chloroplast, we find out that chlorophyll is there. You guys tell me, is the point I have written here so far, is it clear to all of you or not? Look at this structure here as well. See, these are the different views of a leaf here. Look at the first image, that is a leaf. Look at the second image. You are holding a leaf like this. Now in the second image, you are holding the leaf like this. Okay, now? So that is a section of a leaf. Basically, consider the thickness of the leaf. So you are looking at the thickness of the leaf. I mean to say that you have taken a leaf like this. Okay. Now from the side of the leaf, you are looking at it from a magnified microscope, from a microscope. So you will find out structures like this inside it. You will find these kind of structures inside it. Getting it now? Now you guys can see that there are so many dotted structures in this here. Just focus where I am pointing. Don't look at all the things here, otherwise you might get confused in it. Okay, now? Now, if you were to look at these dotted structures, black dots here, these are actually the chlorophyll. Getting it? So let me just summarize it up. In the leaves, you will find that you have got the stomata. Inside the stomata, you have got chloroplast, and inside chloroplast, you have chlorophyll. This whole structure is called as stomata. This whole structure is called as stomata. Inside this stomata, these structures that you see here, these are the chloroplast. And if you were to further magnify this chloroplast, you find out that it has got chlorophyll. Let me repeat. This structure that you see, in which there is a stomatal pore via which exchange of carbon dioxide gas or oxygen is taking place. So this structure that you see here, that is called as stomata. Okay. Inside the stomata, you have got this chloroplast. And inside chloroplast, we have chlorophyll. So main concern here is chlorophyll. Even if you forget what is chloroplast, it is okay, but make sure you remember that where this process of photosynthesis is happening, it's happening inside the chlorophyll. You guys tell me, is it clear to all of you or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that was the location, that was the site of photosynthesis where the process of photosynthesis happens. You guys tell me, what were the raw materials required for photosynthesis? Starting from Vakas, you tell me. What are the raw materials required for photosynthesis to take place? Few minutes ago, we have discussed this. Yes, Priyanka? What are the raw materials required for photosynthesis?
Sir, oxygen.
Required for photosynthesis to take place. Oxygen is the product of photosynthesis. It is one of the product of photosynthesis. Look at this equation again. First of all, you tell me, then I will continue.
Sunlight.
Sunlight. Okay, sunlight. In the presence of sunlight, it will be happening. Okay, but it is not a raw material now. It is supplying energy for the process to take place. It is not a raw material. Yes, Abu Bakr, you tell me. Yes, Abu. Guys, did I not told you that you require carbon dioxide in the first place? Recall this image again. Look at this image again. Look at this side here. Look at this side. You take plants taking carbon dioxide from air. From where? From the air. Plants taking water from the soil. And in the process of sunlight, in the chlorophyll, they prepare the food, sugars, that is basically it's a carbohydrate, and then oxygen is also released in the air. So that is the whole process now. In the form of an equation also, this has been summarized. Equation, you guys suppose you guys know what is an equation. One minute. 1 plus 2 equals to 3, that is an equation. That is an equation. Equation, whenever you use the equal to sign, this equal to sign, so that becomes an equation. I write A plus B equals to C plus D, so thereby that is an equation, because I have used this equal to sign. So this in the form of an equation also, photosynthesis process can be showed in this manner. You have carbon dioxide plus water. Both of them reacts in the presence of sunlight's energy, and all this is happening in the chlorophyll. So products formed are carbohydrates and oxygen. So these were the raw materials, carbon dioxide and water. These are the raw materials required. While carbohydrate and oxygen, these are the products of photosynthesis. You guys might be getting in between, like, what is carbohydrate and what is sugar, glucose, what is all these things. So just let me tell you that carbohydrate is of different types. There are different types of carbohydrates. of which glucose is one of them. Glucose is there, sucrose is there. There are some other types of carbohydrates also. So if sometimes it can be written carbohydrate, sometimes it can be written glucose. Both are written exchangeably. Getting it, guys, or not? I suppose you guys are able to understand these things. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what are the raw materials required?
Water.
Sir, carbon dioxide.
Yes, Priyanka, as you
Water.
said, water. Very good. These are the main
And
what required materials. Carbon dioxide, it is taken from where? From air or soil?
air.
Air. Water
Air.
is taken from a soil and
Soil.
carbon dioxide
Correct,
from
correct,
air.
correct. Okay, Abu, you tell me, what is the site of photosynthesis? Where is all this process happening? Abu, turn your mic on in the class. Unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
What is the site of photosynthesis? Site means a place, a location. Where is all this process happening? Okay, Priyanka, you tell me.
Uh, the stomata.
Inside the stomata, there's chloroplast, and inside chloroplast there is one structure.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, Vakas, you tell me.
Sir,
Sir,
leaf.
Leaves is there. Okay, inside the leaves, what do you have? Yeah, Priyanka.
Stomata.
Okay. Inside the stomata, there's also one thing. Yes, Priyanka, be specific. What is the specific answer?
sir, chlorophyll.
Chlorophyll. Correct. Right now. So in the leaves, a green pigment called chlorophyll is the site of photosynthesis. Now let's understand what is this green pigment. Why I have written green pigment here. See, pigment here basically refers to color. Okay, now you might have seen that certain leaves are pink in color, some leaves are yellow in color. Have you guys noticed that leaves can have different colors? Some ornamental
Yes,
flowers, ornamental plants have got leaves of different colors, right? No?
yes,
So
sir.
you find out that there are different pigments found inside the leaves. There are different pigments that are found inside the leaves. First of all, you guys also need to know what is a pigment. So pigment is basically a material that gives color to something. My cloth looks black because of the black pigment in the cloth, because of the black dye in the cloth. Getting it? So similarly, the leaves, most of the leaves looks green because of the chlorophyll. So chlorophyll is a green pigment. Getting it, all of you? Which gives leaves the green color. Similarly, there can be different other pigments also, which can give different colors to leaves. For example, you must have seen that some of the leaves looks yellowish in color. Some leaves, let me write this, yellow leaves. So they have got a special type of pigment called as carotene. Although this is not important, but if someone asks you, you can answer them that why certain leaves are yellow in color. Because carotene is found in them. Carotene is a pigment that is found in them. Some leaves will be have a red color. Some are red in color because of another special type of pigment called as anthocyanins. Anthocyanins. So you guys must, do you guys have any questions in this? Think of, there's a very interesting question related to colorful leaves. Hmm? A very obvious question that a student should ask, that what we know that green pigment, this chlorophyll is the green pigment. It is the site of photosynthesis where photosynthesis takes place. So what about those leaves which are colorful, which are yellow or which are red in color? Will they be able to perform photosynthesis? Isn't that a very obvious question?
Yes, sir.
Hmm? Isn't it, guys? So the answer to this is that actually green pigment, actually this chlorophyll is also there in those leaves. It is also there in the leaves, but it is actually shaded by the presence of other pigments in them. What do you mean to say? Say that this is the, say that this is the chlorophyll. Suppose you have got a yellow leaf like this. Suppose you have a yellow leaf. Okay. So this layer, let's say this layer shows you chlorophyll pigment, and this is being covered by the carotene. This pigment, carotene. This is being covered by the carotene. So does it mean that chlorophyll is not there? Chlorophyll is already there, but it is being covered by a layer of carotene in it. That's why you are able to see the leaves as yellow and not as green. But that doesn't mean that chlorophyll isn't in it. Am I clear to all of you? Yes? Abu,
Yes.
Priyanka, Vakas.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So right now, so even the colorful leaves, they are also able to perform photosynthesis, but the reason why they look yellow in color is because of the carotene pigment found in them. So the chlorophyll in them is actually covered by a layer of another pigment that basically covers them. So that is the thing about it. Hope it is clear. So some other important things which you need to know regarding the photosynthesis process. So will it happen during the night? Is it possible?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No. Also, you know that this stomata, which is having openings called as stomatal pore, it should remain open during the night or during the day.
Mm. So during the day.
During the day, it will remain open because during the day it produces oxygen and glucose. So oxygen is mainly being released by the stomata during the day. Getting it now? So why the stomatal
Yes,
pore?
sir.
Oxygen comes out. So during the day, it will remain open. These are very important points. Photosynthesis takes place only during daytime in the presence of light. Another important thing we have learned, stomata on leaves remain open during day while it closes at night. Another thing, basic thing we have learned, carbon dioxide is taken from the air in the green leaves during daytime through the stomata. These are basic things. Now, another important thing is that, see, once the process of photosynthesis is done in the plants, so thereby the food that is prepared is glucose. Okay, that is the first stage of the food. Now, this food that is prepared in the form of a glucose, it is immediately convert into another form, which is called as starch. So basically what has happened, carbon dioxide reacted with water in the presence of sunlight to prepare glucose, that is C6H12O6. What is this? Glucose plus oxygen. So once the photosynthesis process is done, it is immediately converted into another form, which is called as starch. So it is now converted from glucose to starch. You guys getting this thing or not?
Yes, sir.
So the food that is prepared in the photosynthesis process, it is stored in the leaves in the form of starch, right? And from the leaves, now it might go to different parts of the plant depending upon the plant, depending on the type of plant it is. So it might either be stored in the form of fruit, either it might be stored in the form of the whatever vegetable it is, or it might be stored in the leaves itself, like you have a spinach. It might go down to the root, it might go to the stem. So in different parts of the plants it will be stored. Which gas is given out in the process of photosynthesis?
Oxygen.
Oxygen. Okay, now. So that is another thing. Now you guys tell me, like suppose you have a potted plant, and if you were to provide excess water to this potted plant, or any plant, you can have any plant, not just this potted plant. So Abu, uh, Priyanka and Vikas, you guys tell me, if you were to provide excess amount of water to this plant, what will happen? Will it be able to carry out its processes normally? You guys answer this basic question to me. You have over, the water is basically dripping out of it now. Yes. My question to you guys is that this is the potted plant, and you have provided extra amount of water to the plant. Water is necessary. That we know, for that we know. But what if extra amount of water is provided to this to the plant?
So the
What
plant can't take.
exactly? Plant can't take any more water beyond its need. So what basically happens? Normal in this situation, what will happen? If you were not to manually take out the extra water, the plant might die, right? But suppose you have not you have provided a slightly extra amount of water. So what the plants will do, via their leaves, the plants will be losing this extra amount of water. Let me tell you how. Now look at this leaves here. Look at this leaf here. When you look at the leaves now, you find out that it has got tiny pores in it that we have studied moments ago. These are called as stomata, right? Now these are called as stomata. These are the structures which have got pores in them. Let me zoom it out. So during the daytime when there is sunlight, so due to the sun's heat, evaporation takes place. That's how clothes dry. Right now, that's how clothes dry, because water from the clothes evaporates. So something similar happens in the case of plants also. The extra amount of water that you provided to the plant, or basically any water that you have provided to the plant, not just the extra amount of water. So the water that you provided to the plant, via the stems, it will reach the leaves, and via the pores inside these leaves, it will start to evaporate and come out. You can see the arrow, and you can see H2O is written here. H2O means what? What is H2O?
Hydrogen.
No, no. H2O, is it carbon dioxide or is it water?
Water.
Water. Hydrogen means only H now. We have got oxygen also. So H2O is water. So extra amount of water now comes out of this leaf via the process of evaporation. And since evaporation is happening in this plant now, so in the case of plant, when the water is lost to the environment in the form of water vapor, this process is called as transpiration. Yes, Priyanka, what did you understand from this? Yes,
Sir,
Vakas. Ha, Priyanka.
sir, the leaves absorb water.
Sir, we studied from this is like if you put extra water,
Hmm.
so from leaves the water will evaporate.
Correct. And in leaves, you have got tiny pores, that is stomatal pores, right now. So via
Yes,
those pores, water will evaporate in the form of water,
Evaporation.
in the form of water vapor. The process is evaporation. And when evaporation takes place in the case of plants, it is called as transpiration. Getting it, Abu, Priyanka, and Vakas,
Yes, sir.
right now? So that is the thing about it, that plants loses water in the form of water vapor through stomata and the general surface of the plant body through day and night. Loss of water from the plant body is called as transpiration. So you will find out that some plants like shrubs and herbs have got green stem. Their stem is greenish, right now. So
yes, sir.
from the stem of those plants also transpiration can take place, right now. So that is the thing. And there's a very if you were to see na, you must have seen dew drops. You guys know what is dew? DEW, dew drops. What are these things?
No, sir.
What does it know? If you go to a garden or if you go to a garden early in the morning now, you will find tiny droplets of water on the surfaces of the leaves. Okay, na? You will find tiny droplets of water on the surfaces of leaves. Getting it what I'm trying to say?
Yes, sir.
So that dew drop is basically what? It is the extra amount of. Also, you guys need to know one more thing. Evaporation is a 24-hour process. Evaporation, it's not like it will happen only in the daytime. Suppose if I were to take some water in this cup, I have filled it completely. After 1 week, if I were to let it in my room, if I were to left it open in my room, after 1 week, I will find out that the level of water might be lesser as compared to what I kept in it earlier. Why is it so? Because evaporation is always taking place. Getting it, guys? What I'm trying to say. It's not like necessary you have to boil it to evaporate all the water out of it. You just keep it in the room after 1 week, after 10 days or a month, you will find that the water's level will go down. Its level will decrease in it. So even during the night also, the transpiration takes place from the plants. Although during the daytime, since sunlight is there, hence the process of transpiration will be faster. While during the night also. So in the early in the morning, you find out that in the temperature is very less usually. So what happens? The water that is coming out of the leaves now, the water that is coming out of the leaves, it actually condenses. I suppose all of you know what is condensation. Who will tell me what is condensation? Yes. Anyone? What is condensation? Vakas, what is condensation? Abu Bakr, you tell me what is condensation? See, the simple thing is that you take a pan, you put some water in it, and if you were to boil it, so water will start to turn from its liquid to its vapor state. You put a plate over it, what you find out that water starts to stick to the surface of this plate. Getting it? So
Yes,
thereby
sir.
basically what is happening in this utensil, water starts to evaporate. You are heating it. You place a plate above it. So once this water vapor comes in contact with this plate, now it starts to turn back into the liquid state. It acquires the liquid state. The water vapor converts into water droplets once the temperature is lowered down. Because this water vapor, your Priyanka.
I can't hear you.
Okay, am I audible to others or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Abu, am I audible to you? Priyanka, I think you might be having a network issue.
Sir, I'll rejoin.
Okay, okay. Guys, just wait for 1 minute. Yeah. So I was saying here that what is happening? You are heating the water, it turns into water vapor, and once it comes in contact with this plate, it again turns back into water. So something similar is happening here also. So what happens? Early in the morning, temperature is usually lower as compared to rest part of the day. So the water is coming out of the leaves early in the morning as well. So due to the low temperature, the water condenses and it is found on the leaves in the form of dew, that we call as dew drops. So if you happen to visit in the garden or in the park early in the morning, you'll find tiny droplets of water above the leaf surface. Hope you guys are able to understand this.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, no? So that is the thing about it. So the first topic about in this today we have studied about photosynthesis. We studied about the different modes of nutrition. In this, we studied about autotrophs and heterotrophs. What are some of the examples and how plant does the process of photosynthesis and transpiration. In fact, there's a very important role of transpiration which I'll be discussing in the next class. Just like how sweating keeps our body cool, in the same manner, this transpiration helps to keep the body of the plant cool. So that is another thing which I will be telling you guys in the next class. So that's it for today. If there's any question, please do let me know.
No, sir.
Okay. Also, you